So di na natin let's call on Mr. Jeremy Tan to introduce our special guest speaker.
All right, welcome Starbright. Good morning, Starbright. Welcome to our agency assembly. Today is a very special day and we have a very special guest. Just a quick story lang. Hindi ko rin alam kung alam to ng guest natin, but the first encounter I had with Sir Randell was 2012. Hinahanap ko yung article he wrote when I asked him a question. And interestingly enough, the question was about insurance. And the title is parang choosing the right life insurance. And it's a 3-part article that he wrote sa Philippine Daily Inquirer. Ano pa yun? Nabitin pa ako nun kasi 3-part yung question, di ba? So parang 3-part answer eh. So hindi siya every week lumalabas eh. Every 2 weeks yata lumalabas. Kasi at that time, when I was still in corporate, nagbabasa ako ng mga blogs and mga articles. And of course, 2012, sino po ba yung mga influential people when it comes to personal finance? And you could only think of one person, si Sir Randell Tiongson. So when I got the opportunity, I asked. And that opened my eyes about the insurance industry. And then late that year, I attended the RFP sessions, registered financial planner sessions, and siya yung naging teacher for insurance planning. I could still remember that. And from there, we got to meet from time to time sa mga events, sa mga talks niya, and I got to attend some of his trainings as well. So I'm really happy and glad that I was able to connect and be able to, and di niya alam na me being here, he was a big part of it. Me being open to knowing about insurance and being in the insurance industry. Kasi that after RFP, doon na ako nag-decide to get into the financial services industry. So 2012 yon late, and then 2013 I got here with Film Life or AIA now. So yun lang, brief story how influential this person is, and my personal experience din ako of how he inspired me to maybe unknowingly, how he inspired me to be part of this industry. And now 8 years in, I'm still here enjoying it and learning and growing. And of course, we are honored to have him here to learn from him. He will also have a masterclass sessions for advisors, gathering a lot of the industry's best with different knowledge na pwede natin matutunan. And he'll probably give us a preview of what those are. So just to give a background, baka yung iba hindi nyo kilala. I doubt na hindi nyo kilala, but Sir Randell Tiongson has 30 years experience in the financial services industry, considered the most respected personal finance coach in the country. He's also the director ng Registered Financial Planner Institute of Philippines, a wealth coach, author, financial planner, a father, and I think most recently a grandfather na. And of course, sabi ko nga sa kanya, bagay na bagay sa kanya yung theme na to. He is also too hot to handle. Please welcome Mr. Randell Tiongson.
Thank you. Grabe, Jeremy. It's been 10 years since we had an encounter. Pero bakit hindi ka naka-Hawaiian? Ano? Yung may Hawaiian mo, white shirt. Chinese Hawaiian yan, bro. Anyway.
Wala rin ako Hawaiian.
So, si Jeremy said, the theme is Hawaiian. Sabi ko, bro, the last time I wore a Hawaiian was for an insurance event in 2004 or something like that, no? So after leaving the industry, tinanggal ko na lahat yung mga team na yan, ano? So anyway, grabe, no? It's nice to be able to reconnect with you. I don't know if any of you were still here, but I remember giving a talk to, I was really many years ago, to SGA pa yun, ano? And then andun pa kayo sa is it Damon? What's that, the building, no? Or something like that, no? So yun. So that's been a really long time. And yeah, I remember the circumstances of Jeremy, no? Nagulat na lang ako, you joined the industry, you joined Film Life. Naninibago pa rin ako sa AIA Film Life. No? So pasensya na, I may have a reference to you as Film Life. I know you've rebranded and all these things. But mahirap tanggalin sa psyche ko because I don't know if you know, no, I was for a brief moment I was an associate agency manager of Film Life. So this was 2000, ang tagal na nun, ano? 2003 yata yun. 2003 I was recruited to join and I partnered with a dear friend of mine to put up our agency. Her name is Pat Yam. And ayun ko, paritan na yata si Pat, no? So we've done that in 2003 and we were able to, alam mo, nagawa namin yung dapat namin gawin. And in that brief moment in Film Life, I believe it's about 1 year and 4 months, no? Nang-hit din naman namin yung MDRT requirement namin at that time. And I remember running a team wherein 100% of them validated. So then eventually I moved on and I did other things. So my background is insurance for quite a number of years. I worked for 3 companies. One of them is Film Life. And after that, after I officially left the corporate environment, I still do that. I still speak, I still write. So I was new in the business at that time. I saw Randell Tiongson. Wow, bago ka ba, Rohel? Parang magka-contemporary lang tayo, bro. Okay, so I remember si Rohel pala. So para bang bago ka ba nun? Di ba halos sabay lang? Anyway.
Parang tayo bago.
Parang bago. Ngayon luma na. Si Jeremy nga, no? Tanda na, no? Grabe, no? I remember Jeremy was like a kid before when I was talking to him, no? So ngayon, kuya ka na, no? So anyway, so I think you were single back then, no? So yan yung the background of this. Again, thank you for having me, no? It's been a while. A lot of changes has happened. The industry has changed. You guys have changed, no? From what I remember, your agency to to Film Life to all these many changes, and it's great, no? Some of them, we want to wish to go back to the way it was, but at the end of the day, we still move forward. And again, congratulations for those of you who are moving forward and moving and I'm actually excited, no, to see this opening up because last month I finally, after 2 more something hiatus, I finally went into a trip. My wife and I, we celebrated our 30th anniversary 2 years after kasi of the lockdown. No, we spent about 2.5 weeks in the US, and we were traveling. No, we kind of went back to our groove of doing things. And sabi ko, I'm not gonna let fear dictate upon those things. So we went to a vacation, pero alam mo, sometimes perspective lang, no? Dito sa Pilipinas, takot na takot tayo. We're always afraid. But when I went to the US, parang everything is really back to normal, So it's really a perspective, no? And ganoon din naman in terms of percentage, ganoon din naman ang infections nila sa atin. So we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of this movement, a lot of these changes. And I think proper, no? I'm gonna share. Yes, I'm gonna talk to you about the masterclass, but be more than that, I really want to share something with you, which I've been sharing. No, I've been sharing. If I can share my slide, I've been sharing this for quite a number of agencies already, of groups, no, of companies. And yesterday, the other day, I did this talk also for my friend's company, Ramper, no. So we were doing a lot of these things. We're trying to encourage people. We want to try to ask you to move forward. And at the end of the day, our goal is to become better at what we're doing. So the question that we want to ask ourselves this afternoon is, are we actually a better advisor today? 2 years has passed. We're about to enter March 15. Kung makalimutan yan, it was our lockdown time, March 15. So 2 years from that lockdown, more than 2 years from the discovery of COVID, are you a better advisor today? Some of you may have been recruited during that time. And I get your agency manager saying, medyo mahirap talaga because iba din, I was part of the agency force. I did both. No, I was part of agency, then I moved to corporate, then I went back to agency, then I went back. Medyo ganun yung aking I did many things, no? From selling to managing team to doing corporate management to heading training. I did a lot of these things in my younger years. Okay, mukha na ba akong lolo? Anyway, I'm a grandfather today. It's been para lang for context, no? I became an agent. Di pa namin alam, di pa na-invent yung term na financial advisor, financial planner, no? We were called life insurance agents back then. I joined the industry in 1993. So 1993, I don't know how old were you. I don't know what you were doing in 1993. Kasi lately, I've been speaking in agencies that are predominantly millennials and Gen Z. No? So when I said, ano ginagawa mo noong 1993? People were chatting. Hindi pa kami pinapanganak. Okay, titos pa daw yung iba. So some of you, some of you medyo hindi na. No? But anyway, 1993, that was 4 or 5 years after college. I joined the industry. I love the industry. I performed pretty well. Me and my wife were a husband and wife team. I remember selling 35 policies in my first month of being coded. And then a year after, no, kasi yung uso yung mga contest, no, I would submit something like 50, 51 policies. And then a year after, I would do, a few years after, I'd do 53 or something like that. I would always like to break the record. And that's something, no. Pag naisip ko, ano bang record na iniwan namin sa Film Life? Kasi iksi lang yung type sa Film Life, no. Well, 100% validated advisors. In our small team namin ni Pat, very, very small. It's virtually just a unit. Okay? Kasi nagpa-revert pa nga ako eh. It was just virtually a unit. We had something like 5 MDRTs in like 4 or 5 out of like 15 or something like that. So, yun yung yun yung ginawa namin. And then that led me to do many things. No? In fact, somebody I met in Film Life became one of my dearest friend that I still work with today, si Rex Mendoza. So he was your former CEO. I still work with him. I still collaborate with him. I still virtually talk to him a few times a week. And he became my mentor there. He continues to help me today, and I've done so many things. So the question that I wanted to ask you, are you a better advisor today? After everything that's done, some of you are new, or you may be like Jeremy, no? Na I don't know, Jeremy 8 years na para sa industry. When I look at Jeremy, I realize I'm old. So yun yung mga nare-realize ko, naaalala ko pa. So so we become a better advisor. That's a question that a lot of people ask. Now we understand that changes are happening, and then so many things, di ba? Just as infections are going down, just are starting to open up. There comes this Ukraine war, gas prices, nagpagasolina na ba kayo lately? Diba? So makes you a little bit wiser, and you understand. It's not just a gasoline issue, and I'd like to echo what your agency manager said kanina. It's not just the gasoline. Many things are more expensive today. Okay, so inflation is real. And this is not just an isolated inflation. This is a global inflation. Okay, I just came from the States. Everybody's nagreklamo about that. Kanina, I was being interviewed in, I don't know what, is it GMA or something like that? Susan, sino ba yun? Basta, she was interviewing me in a radio program, and we'll talk about the challenges, the difficulty ng average na Pilipino. And even if you're an advisor, even if you're earning a little bit more, okay, or much more, it's still challenging. So the question is, what are we doing about it? So many things have happened. The world continues to change. The world continues to evolve. Diba? Naalala ko pa, when I joined that, naalala ko, Film Life. Tapos inintroduce nila, Film Life, an AIG company. Tapos nawala na si AIG. Naging Film Life, an AIA company. Naging AIA Film. Ngayon, wala na si Film. Nabura na sa Film. Subdivision na lang siya sa Quezon City ngayon. AIA na. So, ang dami nangyari. Diba? Agency heads transfer, presidents change. There's so many things that happen. It continues to change. The way we do business change. Okay, claim to fame ko lang. I was in the very, 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 very first batch, okay, of people who was given a VUL license in Film Life ng AIA. First batch kami. Ilan lang kami pinatraining nun. Hindi pa na nga nila alam pa paano mag-review. So some of them, we were sariling sikap kami doing the VUL reviews. We didn't even know what to happen. That was 2003. Imagine how 2004. Hindi ko na maalala. No? Something like that. So that was 2004 yata, 2004. So first batch. So today it has changed. It's a move forward. It's things are so different the way we do business. Okay, now I'm speaking to, before sa insurance industry, ayaw nila ng bata. In fact, I remember doing whenever I'm trying to recruit somebody, merong profiling na galing sa Limra, no? Pag ang age mo below 30, automatically zero yung point mo doon. So nahihirapan. So the context at that time is you need to recruit somebody that's older. Today, it's the reverse. You don't want to recruit somebody that's too old. You want to recruit somebody that's young. So things continues to change. The business model, Diba? The challenges. It continues to do. COVID changed many things of the things that we do. Right? Today, we're doing Zoom. Now, I believe we're still going to continue to do Zoom, although there's going to do, yung sinasabi ko nga, we're going to experience hybrids, no? So these things are happening right now. The advocacy continues to be challenging. Do change. It's complicated. Today, diba, anong biggest challenge ng common Pilipino ngayon? Diba, financially, isabong. O diba, nag-evolve din ang sugal, ang lahat ng bagay na mali, nag-evolve din, isabong na ngayon. It continues to change. It continues to be challenging. It continues to be challenging. And with all of these changes right now, COVID, globalization, changing of the market, the shifts of the market. Today, when ito, share ko lang how things have changed, no? I always work with this friend of mine. He's like a partner, business partner. His name is Marvin Guillermo. Very well known in the field of investing. See, Marvin would do Facebook Lives for quite a number of years already. Siguro 3, 4, 5 years ago, when we do something like a Facebook Live, many of the questions that people will write in these FB Lives will be about the stock market, direction, stock market, and all of these things. This was about 5 years ago. Few months back, nag-FB Live kami. We haven't done that in a long time. Nag-FB Live uli kami ni Marvin. Okay? Grabe. 8 out of 10 questions, okay, were about crypto. Only one about stock market and only about general finance. See, things have shifted, have moved, so changes tremendously in the way we do things. So the world is changing and it continues to change. Financial advisory today is very, very different from financial advisory during my time. Although some things remains to be constant, something remains to be fundamental, but many things have changed. The way we do business, kaya nga minsan, mag-ingat din kayo. You might be taking programs and training that was designed for a 1980s, 1990s market that you're trying to apply in the market today. Things has changed, and I know that because yes, technically I'm not part of the financial industry. I'm somebody from outside, okay? But I continue to do a lot of consultancy. I get invited. I speak. I do a lot of research. I continue to be in advocacy, and you see the many changes that's happening right now. The world is always changing, and with that change, you need to accept the fact that the rules of the games are changing. The way we do things are changing. Technology continues to change many things. Okay, I said this a few years back. Okay, one of the greatest challenges of the financial advisory world will be the introduction of AI, computer-aided learning. It's already happening globally. So it's only going to be a matter of time. Because the rules of the games are changing. What is really important is creation of value at this point in time. Who would have thought? Okay, for those of you, siguro sino ba ka-contemporary ko dito both pero Rohel? Okay? Sino ba mga oldies na naiwan dito? Titignan ko yung lahat ng kilala kong oldies wala na dito. So anyway, puro bata na si Jeremy na nga yung, well, I think for some people, oldies ka na rin dyan. So, I'm looking for contemporaries. Who would have thought that you can actually invest using GCash? Who would have thought that's going to happen? Who would have thought that you can buy insurance using GCash? You could save using those things. Diba? Papasok ka, hindi lang basta Philippine market ito Okay, you can have access to global market like technology and stuff like that. For what? For 1,000 pesos. You can enter in an index fund for 50 pesos. Who would have thought that's going to happen? Things have continues to drastically change. And it's continuously going to change. We are continuously evolving. But the question is, are you cognizant of these changes? Because it is not enough that you adapt to these changes, you need to be ahead of that. Now, the biggest question in a lot of people's mind is, paano tayo mag-survive as an advisor? And I'll tell you something, doing what you're doing, something that I did in my past, in my younger years, when I had a lot of energy back then, hindi madali yan. Hindi madali. I think the industry needs to wake up to the fact that this is not an easy job. It is a challenging job. It's a really, really rewarding job. But tell me, 6 digits in my imagine mo earning 6 digits and eventually 7 digits in the 90s. That's a lot of money back then. It was only possible for the agents through that industry. I mean, that's for me. Diba? But things continues to change. Things continue to be challenging. What is in store for the financial advisor of the future? In 2003, 2002, we've had a lot of conversations, with Gamma and LUAP. We did a lot of these talks. And people were really concerned. They were watching. Sabi nila, when bank assurance was introduced in the industry, sabi nila, this is going to signal the end of the agency force. 20 years after, the agency force continues to be just as dynamic as it was before, if not even more dynamic today. So you see, changes that's going to happen can either be a problem for you. It could be an opportunity for you. So again, as an advisor, what am I to do in the environment today where people can invest and put money, can buy insurance using GCash? They can open a crypto account. They can have a global access to investments, and all these things. What is in store for the financial advisor of today? How can it continue to evolve? And again, this is again, guys, I may not know you personally except for Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy and si Roel. The rest, I probably don't know you personally, or maybe we've had encounters in the past. But I want to talk to you this afternoon like a kuya, like an older brother, or like a tito for some of you. Okay? Sa ibang mga organizations na young, share ko lang, ako mismo napo-blow yung mind ko out of proportion. I was talking to an agency manager, a branch manager in another company. Okay? He is 26 years old with 1,300 agents. Sabi ko, paano nangyari yun? How is that even possible? I was talking to him, baliktad. Instead of him being mentored by me, I was like talking to him a lot of questions. This is the reality of today. This is the environment of today. Okay, I left the industry. There was like what, 20,000 advisors in the whole country. Today, some companies are 30, 40, 50, 60,000 advisors. And hundreds of thousands already in the nation. Things continues to change. And we're asked in 2000, 2001, we were asking the question, what is the future of the financial advisory now with bank assurance? And the same questions people were asking, what is the future of financial advisory when everything's online? What is the future with this machine-aided learning, with the use of artificial intelligence? What do we do? The rules of the game are changing. And yet your value continues to be there. If you understand how to not just adapt to these changes, but to be ahead. And I want to be able to share certain things that I want to be able to do. Parang ano lang to, kuya. But guys, madaldal po ako, baka sumobra po ako sa time frame. You can just cut me anytime, please. I just wanted to share something that's really burdening in my heart, but I think this is very important. I'm speaking from a perspective that I am from outside. I get to meet so many Filipinos globally, wherein they have so much problems and they have so much financial issues that can easily be solved by a trusted financial advisor. A lot of the problems of people today, you guys have the answer. And yet, why is there seemingly lack of improvement and lack of growth? Why? And I hope to be able to share something that's really deep in my heart. Whether you're going to attend my masterclass or not, it doesn't matter to me. Actually, it doesn't matter to me. Okay? I don't need to go out and keep on promoting my programs. It promotes by itself. But I want to share something with you guys that I've been sharing to some people, some agencies that I've done this in the past few. I think I started to rally this message, and I want to rally this message to you as well. Okay? So first and foremost, the rules of the game are changing. But unlike last year, recovery is beginning to feel more real today. It's going to be, unfortunately for the Philippines, nahuli tayo sa recovery. Nauna na yung, we're about a year and a half delayed or a year delayed as against our neighbor, but we're still getting there. We're catching up there. Although there's a lot, sorry, I don't want to get into economics issues today, but there's a lot of these concerns are happening right now. And it's so sad that Filipinos are putting all their hope in the elections that's going to come. Elections or not, recovery is going to happen. But the question is, are you guys poised for recovery? Are you getting ready? Or are you still so afraid, still concerned about? I mean, how can you go out and encourage people when you yourself are not encouraged yourself? But you need to understand and you need to accept the fact recovery is happening. And you need to be prepared for that. The question that I guess begs an answer from you, an internal one, is that where do we go from here? Now that more or less I'm not saying COVID is over. COVID is something that we are beginning to live with. Ako na COVID ako last January, no? Omicron though, all those Omicron. I kind of realized this is something that I need to live with, and as a nation, and when I saw my kids having infections, and a lot of people that's close to me seeing that, I really, I guess in a way that's the Lord speaking to me, Randell, I am in control. But the question that begs, that needs to be answered in our mind is, where do we go from here? Okay, and here are some suggestions, brotherly suggestions. Don't look at me. I'm not your competitor. I don't represent any other country. I am fully independent. Although I sit in the board of some, mutual funds and stuff like that. But I am really fully independent. So whatever I want to tell you, this is really unbiased, and this is a brotherly advice that I want to give you. First, you need to begin to accept the changes that's happened today. Kaya naka-parenthesis na new. Hindi na to new. Normal na to. The hybridization. The work from home / physical meeting, my biggest concern is the educational crisis that we're experiencing right now. But all of these things will begin to start to shift, and it's an issue of acceptance. Minsan tayo mismo, tayo pa yung takot, but the whole, I've experienced that when I was in the US. I visited like 7 states. 6 or 7 states I visited in a short period of time. And I've seen how people have moved on in that part of the world. And I have friends in Europe, I have friends they've moved on. And seemingly tayo concerned. But hindi naman actually totoo yan. Last Friday, I'm trying to get to the groove of our normal things. Nag-date kami ng asawa ko. Okay? Thinking maluwag. It's not. It's now crowded. So people have moved on. It's now the new normal. Now, how do we need to, and here's some brotherly advice that I want to give you. Maybe as financial advisors, you need to begin to relearn certain things, unlearn certain things. Maybe some reinvention is important, and maybe a little bit of pivot. Now, I don't want to go into details because this is very unique. Your situation is always going to be unique. Pero ano ba yung mga bagay na kailangan na ma-relearn? And here's what I have seen in the last few years back. And I know moving from one company to another, agency after agency, and doing, I think I've already graduated like 3,000 advisors in my master class, or maybe 2,000. I forgot the number. So I've a lot of, and I get invited, I get consulted, I get invited, I go into meetings and many things. And one thing I've realized, a lot of financial advisors today, they need to relearn the beauty, the importance, and the power of risk management and insurance. Hardcore. You know why I'm saying this? We've shifted the way the way things have done. Maybe I don't know who to blame, but they've shifted. And a lot of these financial advisors, the young ones, they're good. They may be MDRT and stuff like this. But a lot of them, pagdating sa concept idea of risk planning, risk management, insurance, medyo manipis talaga. Manipis talaga. And that is sad. Because one of the benefactors of COVID was the insurance industry. Do you know, at the early onset, I was looking at studies and stuff like that. Insurance became one of the things they want to buy because of COVID. And yet, where are the advisors? They're stuck into trying to complicate and really doing many things. So, brotherly advice, get to the core, get to the understanding. What is insurance? Why is it so important? And that's relearning. Now, unlearn. Right? Over the years, the industry has complicated and put in so many, I believe, ang dami, and I'm speaking from a good place. I was, my last corporate job, I was the head of training. I'm the director and co-founder of the RFP. I do a lot of teaching. I was a professor back then. Marami tayong bagay na akala natin importante or tama na mali. Let me be more specific. Many sales strategy that you have been exposed to, that you probably learned, were actually manipulative selling strategies. You need to unlearn that. Ang gusto kasi ng advisor ngayon, boom, baka may nakausap ko, close ka agad. We're trying to look for that magic formula. Now, tell you, there's no such thing as a magic formula. There's no such strategy na one piece lang, one word, one mindset, mga ganyan-ganyan, that I will make me a better advisor. Those things makes you believe that there is, but in reality, there's not. Ang tunay na problema ng mga ganong klaseng mga bagay na we got exposed to is that it's really a problem. It brings out problems of in your industry, persistency, compliance issue, a lot of misrepresentations. And that is a very difficult thing to do right now because you have a quote-unquote, a woke generation selling too, where they have a lot of access and delikado yan. So that makes you go back. So if I'm not going to apply those kinds of because in reality, they do work. May mga nag-MDRT pa dyan eh. But hindi porke nag-work, it means tama yan. So you want to be able to unlearn. Okay, unlearn. So, the process of trying to re-educate a lot of financial advisors at the hardcore of what financial advising, financial planning is, insurance planning is all about, so that they don't need to succumb to all of these magic things that we think. Okay? May word kami dyan eh. Tawag namin dyan, budol-budol. Marami mga we need to unlearn that thing. And again, take it to the grain of salt. Okay? This is a brotherly advice that I'm giving you. I have counseled so many advisors today that are in trouble because of, they believe these things and got them into a lot of trouble. So unlearn. Now, reinvention. What do you reinvent yourself into? I don't know. But there's something that you can do. No, to make this adjustment. We have entered the post-pandemic world today. And that means you might have to challenge or change some of your strategy. I mean, you stick to the basics, but you change certain things. Which leads me to the last advice I give you is to pivot. Merong mga directions ka na talagang hindi na nag-work kayo. You might want to be able to pivot. Now, the question that begs to ask, to be answered is, relearn what? Unlearn what? Reinvent myself into what? And pivot to where? These are questions. Tonight, as you sleep tonight, this is something that you want to be able to give some thought over the weekend. It's a weekend na tomorrow. What can I do? What can I relearn? What can I learn? Maybe it's time to look for a mentor. Maybe it's time somebody talk to your manager. I'm sure your agency manager, unit manager are only going to be very happy that you reach out to them and maybe they can help you. Experience pa din yung mga yan. So relearn, unlearn, and reinvent. Now, here are certain hardcore fundamentals that I wanna give you so that you can be a better advisor. And being a better advisor will ultimately result to success in whatever it is that you do. The most important ingredient that you have is that you need to care. You need to care enough. You cannot be a financial advisor by definition. Has to be somebody that actually cares enough. Number one, you need to care enough about the problems of the Filipino today. How many people are not saving? How many people are into debt? How many people are not insured? How many people are not preparing for their retirement? Today, it has not changed. Less than 10% of Filipinos prepare for retirement. What do we do with the 90%? Ganun pa rin yung problema. I know. I travel to the OFWs. After I'm going to Dubai next sa June. Kaya kami ni Rex, punta kami sa OFW. In fact, I'm even shooting a show for them. Sobrang hirap ng hinadaan ng tao. But you need to be able to help them. It's look at it this way. May mga problema ang tao ngayon na ikaw ang may solusyon. Imagine mo, you have the solution to COVID. You have the solution to cancer. And you're not going out and helping people with that. The same way with their financial ills. Diba? Alam mo, maraming tao, pag nakakausap lang ng financial advisor, yung maayos, yung financial advisor na tama ang puso, magbabago ang buhay nila. And pag nagbago buhay nila, magbabago din naman ang buhay mo. Ito case in point. Ha? Again, I'm speaking because I truly, I hope I'm not doing this na sounding like I'm promoting anything. I'm not. Well, later I'm going to talk about. Having said that, beside the point, I truly care about the financial advisor. Why? Because I care about Filipinos. And I cannot do much. I mean, I can write, I can speak. How much impact can I have? When I speak to you, I help you, and we're doing this collectively, mababago natin trajectory ng Pilipinas. Na hindi na issue natin isabong or scams. Diba? O yung mga kung ano-anong bagay. So, care enough. Case in point, I want to share it. Would you agree with me? Lagay nyo nga sa chat, would you agree with me na mahirap magbenta sa kamag-anak at kaibigan? Do you agree with me? To that point, di ba tayo mga advisor, joke na nga yan, anak ko, mahirap magbenta, buti pa iba, mas madali makipag-usap sa stranger. You agree with me? It's difficult, it's challenging. It's true. And you know why? You know why it's hard? Because those who are closest to you can actually hurt you the most. Mahirap ma-reject ng somebody na malapit sa'yo. Now, let's be practical. Rejection from family members is just the same as rejection from strangers. Baka mas mataas pa rin ng strangers kahit pa. Pero kaya ayaw mo yung kamag-anak, ayaw mo yung kaibigan lapitan. Kasi ayaw mo masaktan. You don't want to be in that awkward position. You don't want to be rejected. Okay? That's clear. I experienced that myself. When I was a new advisor, I reached out to one of my dearest friends in college. We used to party together because taga-probinsya siya. He would sleep over my house over the weekend and I had to sa boarding house. We were that close. We got graduated, we got married. He took up, he was running his family business. I joined in the insurance industry. And of course, he was one of the first persons that I approached. But he rejected me. I was so angry and infuriated with that friend of mine that I did not speak to him for years after, despite our closeness. Many years after, I realized hindi siya ang mali, ako. Bakit? Bakit ko kailangan lumayo just because hindi ko mali sa kanya? Bakit ayoko lumapit sa mga kamag-anak ko, kaibigan ko, kasi ayoko ma-reject? You know what I realized? Maybe, just maybe, I care more about my feelings, I care more about my ego than I do about other people. I know it's a para akong may tinusok sa puso nyo. When you think like that, maybe, just maybe, I'm not passing judgment. Baka you care more about others. You care more about what people, you care more about, yourself than you do others. Kasi kung ganun, dapat hindi ka maging financial advisor. Rejections is going to be part of that. A rejection from a loved one is difficult to accept, but you need to accept it. Now, if you truly care about people, you will overcome that. You will still continue to approach them. Now, regardless of whether they buy from you or not, hindi na yan ang issue. Basta nagawa mo yung kailangan mong gawin. Because when you begin to truly care about people, okay, maraming bagay na ayaw mong gawin, gagawin mo pa din. We have to understand that we are not living in, one of the, maybe because I'm now a lolo, matanda na ako, you just have to begin to accept that you don't live for yourselves. Financial advisors should be the person to live for other people. I've been mentoring a lot of young financial advisors. They're MDRTs, bata sila, some of may mga COT pa dyan. You know what binago ko sa buhay nila? Stop talking about your incentives. Stop posting about your trips. Stop posting about your trophies. I mean, from time to time, it's good. But start helping people. Start creating value for other people. Because what are you messaging people? Financial advisor ako, mayaman na ako, marami ako pwedeng gawin. Lahat ng gusto ko magagawa ko. That's the message we are pushing. Aren't we financial advisors because we want to help people? We are financial advisors because we care about people. Because Kung pera lang hanap nyo, meron kayo pwedeng gawin ibang bagay, nakikita rin naman kayo. So caring enough. So caring enough for people, that means, reaching to as many people as you can, regardless of, even if it's, ego notwithstanding, you have to be able to do that. Care enough. Sobrang daming tao na pag nakakausap lang na isang maayos na matinong magaling na financial advisor, mababagong buhay niya at buhay ng pamilya niya. Multiply that. How many are you in Starbright? A few hundreds. Multiply that. Multiply by that by 5. Multiply it by 10. Eventually, in teams, multiply it by 20. That is the context. Next, you need to begin to truly care about your family. Ang daming dinadaanan, my wife, she also does a lot of mentoring and I do a lot of mentoring. And grabe yung nakikita, experience ko na mga batang financial advisor. Oh, case in point, this guy I'm talking about. So I mentored him for a few years now. And DRT siya. Okay, top siya sa company niya. In fact, top number 3, number 4 pa ata siya sa team. No? So magaling na siya. This is in his 20s. So nakwento niya na meron siyang biniling bahay. And I know that may bahay na siya. So he bought a second house. So I was talking to him. Sabi ko, bumili ka na naman ng bahay. Bakit? So, as a mentor, as a kuya, I was concerned, no? Bakit kailangan bumili ng extra house? Sabi niya, kuya, kasi Ninong niya nakasaktan. So Ninong kasi, alam mo yung nabili kong bahay, hindi siya ganun ka-conducive. Now that I have a child, I want to raise it. Parang gano'n. So ganda ng aspiration. Oh, that's good. Okay. So ano gagawin mo sa lumang bahay? Sabi ko, paret mo ba? Paret, sayang pera dyan. Benta mo, sayang yan. Sabi niya, hindi, bibigay ko sa nanay ko. Kasi hindi naman dyan nakapagpundar ng bahay. So kanila yung bahay na yun. So I bought my house. So bigla ko nahiya kasi naalala ko yung mga regalo ko sa magulang ko. Pabango, necktie, di ba? Siya bahay yung binigay. No? And clearly, he knows his priorities. Okay? So it's possible for you to be able to do that. Look at your families. Are you giving that kind of life? If you're single, may mga single ba dito? May mga single, pwede ba shout out kayo? Type nyo lang S, single. Kung single kayo, type nyo S. Okay lang. Gusto ko lang makita kung may mga single. Ayan, si Dayan. Isa lang single nyo. Okay? Isa lang, buong agency, isa lang agent. So ano to lahat? Lahat married. Ayun, naglabasan na. Yan po, marami pa rin single. So mga single, gusto ko lang sabihin sa inyo that God loves you. O yun lang. Okay, yun ang message ko sa inyo. Okay, so, even if you're single, single, okay, so that's something that you need to understand. You care enough. Then care enough about your organization. Ang ganda na ginagawa niyo, no? Part ng income niyo automatically. By default, meron na kagad na pupuntahan. That's great. You care enough about that. Care enough about your company. Care enough about your agency. Care enough about your teams. That's important. So, very important as an advisor, you cannot not care. If you cannot care, then you should not be an advisor. I know that's a strong statement. But I hope that's true for you and me. Pero, hindi pa yan ang kompleto. Hindi lang enough na care enough. Dapat you continuously build and hone your skills. I am where I am today. Aside from because I continuously care. Okay? It's not that. I don't have to be here. But Jeremy asked me, baka you can speak. I hardly say no to speaking engagements. Yung mga ganito kahit walang bayad. Sorry, hindi ako nagpaparinig. Conflicts aside, I know because I want to be able to give a message. But I want to tell you, I am where I am right now because I constantly build and hone my skills. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. When I was a new advisor, I was like 26 years old. And now I was just like a sponge trying to learn so many things. And then more senior advisors would approach me. Bakit, Randell, parang ang dami mong alam. Bago mo pala, ang dami mo alam. Kasi I was so dedicated in improving my craft. And sila, okay na sila sa nalalaman nila. This opened the doors for me. From selling to managing teams, to heading a department, to occupying senior officership. I was mancom of a large insurance company in the past. From that and today sitting in the board of companies and having the influence that I have. It's because there is a dedication of constant building and honing our skills. Now, why is that important? Kasi caring is good, pero it's not enough. Okay? Caring is good, caring is important, it's the most important ingredient, pero caring can only give you at a certain level. Because you have to be able to create value for people. And you can only do that when you continue to want care and build and hone your skills. Now, why is this important? In the Bible, sinabi rito, do you see a man skilled in his work? Right? Pero sinabi niya na, Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Proverbs 22:29. Skilled. He'll stand before kings, not before ordinary men. Now, for today's context, sino ba itong king na to? Eh, diba ito yung mga influential people? Ito yung mga high net worth. No? Okay, ito yung mga mahirap pakipag-usap, mahirap ma-approach. But let me tell you something. Okay? They can actually speak to you, give you business if they see value in you, if they see that you can bring in something for them. And you can only do that when you're skilled. So you wanna expand, you wanna improve your advisory business. You have to become skilled. Because if you're skilled, you're not just gonna stand before obscure men. You begin to stand before kings. Now, in 2 Timothy 3:17, it says here that the man of God may be competent and equipped for every good work. Let me repeat, that the man of God may be competent and equipped for every good work. Now, you're saying, man of God, hindi naman kami pare, hindi naman kami pastor, hindi naman kami mother, hindi naman kami missionaryo. Hindi naman ako si Brother Bo Sanchez, hindi naman ako si Brother, sino man. Okay? Hindi. Para sa atin to lahat. Alam nyo ba, ladies and gentlemen, na yung ginagawa nyo as financial advisor is actually important to them. Why? You're helping people. Whenever you help anybody, you are honoring. It's an honoring aroma to the Lord. Anytime you do something for your brother or your sister, you're actually beginning to do God's work. In the book of James, there is a scripture that says, the true religion is one that takes care of the orphans and the widows. Now, let me ask you a question. Isn't that what we're doing? Aren't you preparing for the future or future orphans and future widows? And the Bible says that is the true religion. So you're actually doing God's work. But the requirement of doing God's work, it means that you need to be competent and you need to be equipped. So 2 Timothy 3:17 reminds us that we should be competent and we should be equipped. Now, what are these things that we need to study? Ito, pet peeve ko to. This problem that I have seen in the industry in my younger years still persists. And that is the driving reason which led me to co-found the Registered Financial Planner Institute in 2005. Of which Jeremy is, baka may RFPs na dito. Okay, that was a single driving rationale why I pushed for the establishment, the creation, and the growth of the RFP. Because we feel that a lot of financial advisors are lacking technical skills. In my short stint in Philan Life, I would go from one unit to one agency to another, trying to teach people how to use financial calculators, how the economics. I would run doing these things. I continue to do that today. Because kulang yung technical skill. So one time, before pandemic, I was in a coffee shop. And alam mo naman, di ba? Dati nung panahon namin, nagbebenta kami sa office sa bahay. Ngayon sa coffee shop ang usapan ngayon, di ba? Sa coffee shop siya. Now, ito nakakatawa to. When they see me and they recognize me, ilalayo nila yung kliyente nila sa table ko. Siguro nahihiya naman sila. Baka mag-eavesdrop ako. Pero hindi naman lahat na advisor kilala ako. Di bang hindi ako kilala? And alam mo kasi ngayon, ang mga advisor, proud na proud sa colors nila. No? Suit nila, dilaw, pula, green. Suit nila yung kanilang mga uniform. No? Hindi namin ginagawa dati. Ngayon, nakaganon na sila. Which, really, really nice to see that also. They're proud of their colors. And I would, not naman I'm making chismis. Hindi po ako marites. Pero, marinig mo yan. So one time I heard this, sabi nung client, maganda naman yung produkto mo, pero alam mo, hindi ko na kailangan, nag-i-invest na ako sa stock market. Sabi ng advisor, naku sir, huwag ko kayo mag-advise stock market, delikado yan. Risky yan. Mas maganda yung produkto namin, BUL. May index fund po yan. Gusto ko malaglag sa silya. Huwag mag-invest stock market pero pwede mag-invest sa BUL. Saan ba nakalagay yung BUL mo? Diba? Eh, di ba sa stock market din? You know, these are problems that continues to be doing that. And I know that because I do training. I get to counsel a lot of people. A lot of them are still unaware of how markets work. And ito problema. Yung produkto mo, hindi mo naiintindihan yung underlying instruments. Hindi mo naiintindihan paano gumagalaw ang merkado. Hindi mo naiintindihan yung impact ng ekonomiya sa nangyayari. Pero yung kausap mo, nag-move on na, nasa crypto na, nasa NFT space na. Disconnected ka na. Bakit? Kulang ka sa technical skills. If you can stand by you understand why, you can actually tell them that it's all part of a bigger picture. It's all a diversified portfolio that you need to create. So technical skills remains to be very, very important. Know the basics in investments, even others other than that, the strength of insurance and how it can work. By economics man lang. Today, di ba? Sobrang daming advisors. Lalapit sa akin, sir, bakit ba tumataas ang kuryente, ang inflation? Hindi na naintindihan kung bakit. Why am I should be concerned about interest rates? Kaya hindi nyo naiintindihan na pag tumaas ang interest rate, nabagsak ka natin investments. So, bakit, sir? So, yun, makita mo yan. Kasi kulang ang technical skills. In a way, I'm not saying I blame companies, but I guess, I don't know, I feel that they're lacking in these kinds of training that everybody needs to be exposed to. Okay? Sometimes even the people are supposed to be teaching that are now attending my classes. Kasi, sir, I don't blame those teaching kasi hindi rin naman tinuro sa amin. So, again, take it upon yourself. Take technical skills. I learned my own technical skills outside the companies that I represented. What they taught me was good. It was basic, but I needed to learn further. So I started. I spent my own money to do that. At the same time, you need to also continuously hone your soft skills. Ano itong mga soft skills to? Communication. Social media is a soft skill. Your ability to do conversations. Stay away from soft skills na, alam mo yun, puro manipulative, power type. Power. Mindset. Yung mga ganyan-ganyan thinking. Hindi yung tamang soft skills. You know, strengths finder is good. Communicate, marketing, these are all good soft skills. So also enhance that. It's a combination of technicals and soft skills that will create a person of value. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, my suggestion to you is that you need to act. You need to act now and act fast. Make certain changes. Diba? How's your social media activities? Baka kailangan mo i-audit yan. Ano kailangan mo i-change? Mag-vlog na ba ako? Pasayaw ba ako ng TikTok? Magpaparo-paro dance ba ako? Jeremy, huwag mo gawin yan. So alam mo yun, so those things. Ano ba? Anong magagawin nyo? Whatever it is, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but some of them, you have to try it out. If it doesn't work, then we change. Kasi maraming tao ayaw kumilos eh. Sabi nga ni Yoda, sa Star Wars nerd ako, no, try not, do or do not, there is no try. You do it. Huwag na try not. Try mo lang. Gawin mo na. Huwag na do not. Gawin mo na. Then change along the way. Okay? So very important that you do that. And extended na ako, no? I just wanted to say this because the problem when I joined the industry is still a problem today. Many financial advisors today do not walk the talk. They do not practice what they preach. This is a big problem for the industry in general. You cannot expect people to follow your advice when you cannot dish the same advice and follow it yourself. Now, I'm not saying that financial advisors should be multimillionaires. No. What I'm saying is that you should be at least financially stable. If you are going through a lot of financial difficulties today, good. Everybody goes through that. I went through that. The reason, kaya ako nag-advisor because I was experiencing bankruptcy at that time. 26 years old, I experienced bankruptcy. And being a financial advisor helped me turn around my life. And that can be your story also. Pero, what do you do? Are you a good steward of your finances? Do you actually save? Do you actually invest? Are you properly insured? Yung mga pinopost nyo sa Facebook, ginagawa niyo ba talaga? Because marami tao hindi. And you know, I was doing a survey I was doing a special training and I had to do an informal survey. Many people outside, ito sinasabi nila sa financial advisor. Itong mga financial advisor, they do not practice what they preach. That's how the world perceives you outside. To some, hindi ko nila lahat because some naman, some are really, really good at their finances. Pero marami hindi. Don't be one of them. Walk the talk, practice what you preach. Let 2022, the beginning of 2022, first half of 2022, turn your life around. Begin. Dapat nagpo-progress ka. You should save more money next year and borrow less money next year. Progressive yan. May mga kilala ko, 6 na taon, 7 taon ng advisor. Gipit pa rin, dahil pa rin utang, hindi pa rin mapagkasya. Pera. How can that be your situation? So you walk the talk and you practice what you preach because you need to lead from the front. Credibility is very important. It's an integrity issue. So walk the talk, practice what you preach. Why? Because you are really, 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 I cannot overemphasize this fact that people need you today. And a financial advisor can be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Now, by context, read Matthew 5:13-16. Pero you can be salt of the earth, light of the world. People need you. What you do can have a tremendous positive impact in their lives and the lives of their loved ones. They need you. Today, sobrang gulo ng mundo ng tao. Sobrang mali ang priorities nila. Okay? But you can be salt of the earth and the light of the world. Now, bakit salt? Okay? In the olden times, salt is not just for preservation. Because we know salt is to preserve. But salt is also for curative. May mga bagay ginagamot ng asin. In fact, today, sodium is a leading ingredient of medicine. So nakaka-heal yan and nakaka-preserve yan. Bakit light? Ang dilim na mundo ngayon, napansin nyo? Ang dilim na mundo ngayon. Daming lost, daming hopeless, daming may mental health issue, daming frustrated. Ano kailangan nila? Kailangan nila ng light. Kailangan nila ng guidance. Anong ingredient ng salt and light? Pag salt, kailangan maalat ka. I cook. Okay? May side hustle nga ako. No? And I cook a lot. And one of the two most important ingredients in cooking is salt and pepper. Pero hindi lang ng salt pare-pareho. In fact, pag yung salt na ginamit ko, matabang, walang lasa, tinatapon ko yan. Salt na hindi maalat, walang value yan. Ang tao, paano ka magiging ganyan? Hindi ka magaling, hindi ka competent, hindi ka skilled. Para kang asin na walang lasa. Now, light. Madilim ka sa loob. Ano madilim ka sa loob? Integrity issue. Diba? Honesty issue. Hindi ka magiging light. So, kailangan salt and light. Combination of both. That's what you can do today. I know I said so much and I know there's so many challenges. I am not, number one, I am not and will never be a motivational speaker. I don't motivate people. In fact, I demotivate people. So, joke lang. I'm not a motivational speaker. And I'll tell you, life is never going to be easy. Life will always be challenging. I'm in my mid-50s. I'm a grandfather of 2 kids already, 2 babies. I'll tell you, it's not going to be easier. And people say, look, there's this child and he needs to get to the top of the floor. It's a daunting task. Ganyan tayo ngayon. No, we want to encourage you to make the first step. Because the first step is difficult. It's scary. But you need to make the first step. Because once you make the first step, then you can now make the second step and the third step. Now, motivational speakers will tell you the steps will become easier. That's not true. The steps will not be easier. They will be just as hard, if not even harder, because as you get to a few steps, pagod na yung paa mo. Di ba gusto mo na bumalik? Last month, I did something crazy. In one of my trips in my trip in New York, we went to Central Park. Central Park is this beautiful, long, very big park. And itong mga, my best friend from college in Canada went down and sabi niya, ewan ko na pumasok sa isip nung nila mag-asawa. Sabi niya, rent tayo ng bike, i-bike natin ang Central Park. Parang di ba scenic? O di ba okay? Okay, sige. Now, number one, I haven't ridden a bike since the 80s. Imagine mo, 30 years na ako hindi sumasakay ng bike. But I realized, pag marunong ka pala ng bike, 30 years after marunong ka pa rin pala mag-bike. Okay? So you don't lose the skill. So yun, one spot. So okay na sana. Nag-bike kami. Ito problema. Marami palang pa itong Central Park inclined. So imagine mo, number one, I'm not a very physical person. I don't know, na-realize yun naman, di naman ako lalaki ng ganito kalaki kung physical ako. So I'm not a physical person. Okay? So I don't bike. Unfortunately, I don't exercise. So it was very, 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 very challenging for me. And about 1/4 the way, I wanted to go back. I could have. Kalokohan tong ginagawa natin. Bakit pa ako mag-bike? May pang-Uber naman ako. Diba? Ganun yung mga mindset, no? So, pero one I realized, life is like that. There's going back is an option, giving up is an option, but you will also miss out. If I gave up 1/4 of the way, I only saw 1/4 of Central Park. I may not see Central Park anymore. Well, I probably won't. But I would have missed out the opportunity on seeing the beauty and experiencing and realizing na kaya ko pala kahit incline. So, I adjusted. Okay? Paakyat, if it's too steep, I would stop and I would walk and push. One. Number two, I had a good support system. My wife would stop also and, will walk with me or at least wait for me. Then my best friend would stop and check me. Sabi niya, kaya ka nahihirapan, Randell, you have to adjust the gears. So, in life, may mga tools yan. Pag in-adjust pa rin gears, luluwag. Hindi siya masabi. So, kaya lang, maraming effort pa rin. So, sabi niya, gano'n. And then, also, he would pace me, he would help me, he would encourage me. And, in a matter of time, I was nasa dulo ko. I started in Manhattan, I ended up in Harlem. And again, the feeling was good. I was able to finish. I was able to see Central Park. I biked through Central Park. And how many people can claim that? I can now. But what are the lessons here? It's just it's a child. Hindi dumadali yung pagbike ko hanggang umabot ako sa dulo. In fact, biking ko sa dulo, talagang akala ko magko-collapse na ako. Okay? But this child is the same. Kaya niya magagawa yan, hindi dahil dumadali, is because nagde-develop siya ng resiliency. Nagpa-persevere siya. Nagde-develop siya ng muscle along the way. And life is like that for all of us. Life will not be easier. But you are becoming better, more equipped. Okay? You're becoming more resilient. You build the certain muscles that you need to be able to get to the top. And that's what I want to remind all of you. Now, as I end, I want to tell you this. Kaya tayo naghihirapan minsan as financial advisor. Hindi na natin tuloy na intindihan kung bakit tayo financial advisor. Have you asked the question, why are you where you are right now? Pera lang ba? Income lang ba yan? Of course, we will start with that. But you only realize that's not going to be enough. So what is your purpose? Why are you a financial advisor? Why are you doing what you're doing right now? Whether you're part-time or you're full-time. Let me tell you something. Okay? You are where you are because the Lord put you where you are right now. It is not by an accident. There's a reason why you're a financial advisor. I don't know what, but there's a reason. The reason why we cannot see the true purpose of what we're doing, and we're blinded by so many things, like what the world offers, all this incentive, all these awards, all these things. Doon tayo nakafocus. Hindi tayo nakafocus kung ano tunay na purpose natin. Why we are where we are right now. We are so focused on our passions in life. Now, passion is not wrong, but there's something that's more important than passion, that is purpose. Passions are your heart's desire. Purpose is the reason for living. That's the reason why you are placed on earth. That reason. And passion changes. What I was passionate about 20 years ago when I was a financial advisor, it's not what I'm passionate about today. They do change. Your passions change over time. But purpose is permanent. Purpose is something that was birthed in you because purpose comes from your Creator. Baka kaya hindi mo pa alam ang tunay mo na purpose sa buhay. Is baka hindi mo tuloy nakikilala ang Panginoon sa buhay mo. To know your Creator, you need to know your purpose, you need to know your purpose giver, which is your Creator. Then the more you seek that, and it's not automatic, it doesn't, ganito purpose ko. Okay? Hindi ganun eh. Ang purpose natin, hindi yan slogan. Hindi yan yung maganda ilagay sa annual planning natin. Mission, vision. Hindi yan. It's deeper than that. You have to seek the Lord to know what your purpose in life. There is a reason why you are where you are right now. There is a reason why you are hearing me today. Some of you were not even supposed to hear me today. I don't know, but you're hearing it. Maybe the Lord is speaking in your life. And here's what I want to tell you. It's great to know your purpose and to live according to that purpose. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. It is not according to your purpose. It's not according to Starbright's purpose. It's not according to AIA's purpose. It's not according to your spouse's purpose. It is according to His purpose, to God's purpose. You understand God's purpose in life for you. And then you live your life according to that fruition of that purpose. And that's what life is all about. That makes you not just a better advisor, it makes you the greatest advisor you can ever be. Everything all follows in the right time. Bakit tayo distracted? Ang dami natin gusto, ang dami natin nawawala tayo sa purpose natin. That's why Romans 12:2 was placed here. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. And His will is always going to be pleasing, it's always going to be good, it's always going to be perfect. Do not focus on Him. Focus on the purpose that God has placed in your life. And it's connected with your devotion and your understanding of who He is in your life, and everything will fall in its right place. Matthew 6:33, sabi nga dito, seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. That is very, very important. Spend enough time. Read His word, pray to Him, okay? Live your life according to His purpose, and you understand that is what life is all about. Because I want to end with this. I know it's controversial, especially speaking to an agency. We are not called to be successful. You are not called to do what you're doing so that you can be successful. But we are called to be faithful. Faithful in everything that we do. In fact, success is only a byproduct of faithfulness. First, faithful to our Lord. Second, faithful to our family, to our spouse, to our children, to our family members. Faithful to your profession. Faithful to what you're doing to your business. Faithful with all your dealings. And everything else fall in the right place. Okay? Now, the reason, sorry, give me like a minute or two to talk about that. So 2019, I came up with this. I've had this idea a long time ago. I did parts of it, but in 2019, the fruition started. The fruition of this long-term goal that I have to come up with something that I believe is lacking in the industry. Yung tinuturo ko combination of many things. Now, I did one run in 2019. 2020 was supposed to be a big rollout of this, pero nag-COVID. So I thought that was the end. Then, a company actually approached me. Sabi niya, Randell, hindi pwedeng natutulog ang mga advisor. Ano ba pwede mong gawin? Sabi ko, alam mo, meron akong masterclass. I thought I'm gonna do this one time lang. So originally, it was exclusive to them. Sabi ko, training kasi hindi pwedeng maiksila. Kailangan yan succeeding and may tamang kombinasyon yan. So I wanna focus on something that I believe is lacking in many of the programs. And this is gonna change. So experimental, we did that. Then after that, people heard about it. Sige, next. And then, over time, I was, alam mo naman yan, evolution yan. Meron ako inayos na program, meron ako dinagdag na speaker, and so forth and so on. So the masterclass is not just about me. Yes, I organize it. Yes, I spearhead. Yes, I do most of the training, but it's not just me. So I came up with a 10-session program that is transformative, that will turn around the same heart that I have in establishing the RFP is the same heart that I have in the masterclass. This time, it's really decided for advisors. May umattend na daw. Attended before. Okay. Oh, dahil wala siya Israel, no? Kaya pala siya naging advisor. Okay? So the masterclass is that. So 10-session program. The first session we introduce the program, why we're doing it, the changes, and the context of behavioral finance. Session 2, I'm gonna introduce a guy named Val Bagios, International Gallup certified trainer, strengths finder for sales professional. Again, very, very important. Session 3, ito na, huwag siya ng mga nosebleed. Investments in investment planning, hardcore, I teach that. Why a lot of advisors don't even understand how investments work. Session 4, okay, bring in the big guys. His name is Marvin Guillermo. If you have not heard Marvin Guillermo, almost 300,000 followers in YouTube. You know how difficult that is? Right? Si Marvin, number one stock market guy in the country. He designed a program for financial advisors, stock market. So Marvin. Session 5, my friend, my brother, my collaborator, Dr. Alvin Ang of the Ateneo. Isa pang problema ng mga financial advisors, napapagano nga kami ni Dr. Alvin, hindi naintindihan economics, macroeconomics for investors and advisors. So we're teaching you that. One, sobrang daming awareness na nangyayari. Then, session 6, may original design, wala insurance planning, but nakita ko sobrang kulang ng hardcore insurance planning ng mga advisors. So I brought that in. It became one of the awareness. So maybe Israel, you can talk about it also. Then we're shifting out from the technical skills. We're now going to the empowering skills, soft skills nyo. Digital presentation skills, I teach that. Okay? How do you connect? How do you use Zoom? How do you connect with people? How do you present properly? So meron akong ganun. I do that. It's also one of the top favorites. Session 7 is siguro one of the top 2 or top 3 favorites of the class. Then 8 is an introduction to 9 kasi hinati ko into 2 sessions mas lumaba. Personal branding and then social media marketing and content creation. This is the session 9 is being led by Garrett and Ann Maralet. They're a couple. They're the people behind the Bright Millennial. Over 300,000 following. They themselves are, DC Garrett is an MDRT. Okay? And yes, taga Sun Life yan, pero lahat tinuturo niya ng tama. Wala siya, whether Sun Life ka, EI, Pro Life ka, tuturo niya talaga. Lahat ng quote-unquote secrets, wala siyang tinatabi niya. It's for everybody's use. Ang galing, no? Sobrang helpful. Yung mga ads, yung mga dapat, hindi lang basta marketing, pati content creation. So, grabe, sobrang extended yung time na to. And then finally, I will end this with lahat to ng speaker at one point, I mentored them. Pero ito, baliktad ito, minentor ako. So this guy's name is Rex Mendoza. Maybe you've heard him. You should. He used to be your CEO. I work with him. I collaborate with him. He's doing a session on building a successful financial advisory business. Again, mababago to this graduation. Now, meron dalawang bonus session yan. Hindi kasama because hindi siya officially part, so optional siya. One with a guy named Dodong Kakanando, which again, you also need to hear him. Kaya mga mentor ko to, and one with me. So 12 session, and maganda rito, no, the learning does not stop. Meron kaming, like last year, I did 3 extra learning. Lahat ng bayad, may Viber group and everything. We did a property briefing with David Lichu. We did one with cryptocurrency with Arlan Vicencio. Then we had with Jason Lo. So marami ako, next week, no, doon sa mga graduates ko, we're talking about the digital PERA, okay, with the administrator of Pera. So marami akong ginagawang mga ganun for them. All yun add-on yun. Okay? Now, masterclass is level 1, may level 2 yun yung level up. Okay? So meron mga nag-a-attend ng level up din. Yun na, yung mga retirement planning, creation of a financial plan, may crypto doon with Michelle Gaba. Yung investment, strategic investment doon, si Philip Haga doon natuturo. Di ba? Yung the guy behind G-Invest, siya nagtuturo about those things. Rex Mendoza teaches about the high net worth. So lahat yun, microeconomics. So medyo ganun level. Pero hindi para sa lahat yun. Basta importante, masterclass. Now, if you are interested, the masterclass can lead you to the designation called the AFP. Si Jeremy RFP na yan, ako RFP. AFP, it's like a junior version. So kailangan mo lang tapusin yung AFP. And then after ng masterclass, and then you can now apply. Of course, may bayad yung AFP, pero you can now earn a designation. So this is one of the beauty of the masterclass. You can now put this after your name. Randell Tiongson, AFP. So makita nyo medyo dumadami yung mga AFP. So this is the masterclass. Now, I was talking to somebody, sabi niya, Randell, sir, maganda yung program mo, kaya lang natatakot kami kasi mukhang mahal. Akala nila all this time mahal to. Then I told them, this is only 5,000 pesos. So nagulat sila, 5,000 pesos, tapos lahat yan pwede, tapos eventually pwede ba kayo mag-earn ng AFP? Mura, sabi ko, actually, 95% hindi nagbabayad ng 5,000. Nagbabayad sila doon sa early bird. Yung early bird, 3,500 lang. So 3,500 for all of these things, they can earn it. Okay? But deadline is March 15. So 3,500, you can earn it. We do it at night, MWF, 7 to 9-ish. Warning, Marvin Guermo, Garrett, and Rex, extended yung mga oras na. No? Kalahati yata ng time extended kami, which is, they're fine with it. They can always exit. Tapos maganda rito, kunyari hindi mo napanood siya, dahil Zoom, we record the sessions. After the, we can, the next day, you can now watch the replay. So hindi mo napanood sa actual, may appointment ka, mahina internet mo, for whatever reason, you can still finish the program. Limited time viewing na yan. So you do it for 10. And then after that, you graduate, you give your certificate, then you can now apply it to be an AFP, an Associate Financial Planner. For more details, yung QR code, i-ano mo yan, lagay mo yan, and then, or you can email. Pwede, ito sabihin ko sobrang, bilang ko lang sa kamay, ilan ang taga-AIA na nag-attend nito. Baka wala pang 10. In about 1,000 or 1,500 that attended, siguro mga 10 or 12 na taga-AIA lang attend. Okay, so, I don't know why, maybe that's why I'm happy to be able to do this. First time nata ako nag-talk sa AIA about this. Kadalasan marami yan, AXA, Pro, Sunlight. Yeah. So, yan. So, please consider this. Walang pilitan. If this is something that's good, you might consider this. It starts in April. Okay? It starts in April. The deadline for the early bird is 3,500. After that, magiging 5,000. Mura pa din. May mga nag-enroll, wala silang pakialam sa early bird kasi mura pa rin daw para sa kanila. So, consider this program. This is not just me. It's Alvin Ang, Val Bagios, Marvin Guermo, Rex, Garrett, and it's like the best of the best. Then it will, because of that, you can now go into the level 2, which is the level up masterclass, which is going to be in June. Okay? Then you can also follow me. Please do follow me. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Okay? I do a lot of information there. You can use a lot of the materials that I use. You have my express permission to copy and use whatever it is for your own purpose. With that, thank you very much and God bless all of you. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Starbright, okay, for having
Thank
me
you, Sir Randell.
this afternoon. Sorry for the extended time.
Okay.